what I want to actually talk about is how insane the times are right now for somebody to start a business. Like, I was thinking about this as we were talking about it on this training the other day, and it is easier now to start a business. And every year it's getting easier to like actually start a real legit business. That's why all these like young 20s, 18s, sub 25-year-olds are starting profitable businesses, is because they don't have a preconceived mindset that a lot of the older generation does. Like 50s and 60s, they have this mindset of like, oh, it's not that easy, because they grew up in a different time. Where all these 20-year-olds, think about how easy, like you can create a business legitimately from your cell phone.
Well, and I think those, 50, 60, 70-year-olds, they're looking at it like more brick and mortar style. You need
That's what they're used to.
investing, you need inventory. What
Yep.
are you selling? What are you offering?
5-year leases and
Yeah.
and you've also
Need
got to
money.
have this, like, I need to have this genius plan. I've got to have this business plan. I'm not a business person. It's like when you turn around and you realize, number one, the internet created this opportunity for arbitrage. And I feel like that's what most people get started with. It's the easiest way to get started is like some form of business arbitrage. And I heard this story one time of this guy. This is a perfect example. Well, it's a perfect example of how easy it is to arbitrage, not necessarily of internet marketing, but we'll get to that. I heard this story about this guy who was a multimillionaire. He had a business doing multiple millions of dollars a year, and something happened and it went under, or I forget exactly what happened, but he had these relationships with all these guys who made a lot of money, and he was in Vegas with them, hanging out, playing cards or something. And one of the guys is in Dubai or something like that, like lives in Dubai, but it was in Vegas for this thing.
She's got some money.
And he said, so he tells this guy who's now broke, he tells him like, yeah, I'm at a loss. I'm trying to figure out how to get these exact 40 or 50 watches. I need to get them over to my place in Dubai. And I just can't, I don't have time to like locate them or do whatever. He's like, but I'll pay $5 million for them. And the guy's like, okay. So he goes and he researches all of them. And the guy says, look, leave it to me. I'll do it. Let me see if I can do it. So he says, it goes and researches, goes to watch dealers, finds all the watches, total $4 million for the watches. So the guy says to the other guy, hey, you'll pay me $5 million. I'll buy them for you and I'll send them to you. He goes, okay, no problem. $5 million. Boom, done. This guy, all he did was arbitrage. He found somewhere to buy something cheap, turned it around, and in like a week, he was a millionaire again. Made $1 million in one deal. And it was a lot like that happened to be, he knew somebody.
Yeah, that
right.
helps.
But like at the same point, the point is the arbitrage.
Yeah, I got you.
And so with internet marketing, we have this ability to have arbitrage without needing to know anybody, because you can pay to reach the masses with like Facebook ads. And to me, it's interesting because iOS 14 caused this big hiccup in the marketing world, where now the old way of marketing was spend money, drive people to your website, and then that will give Facebook data. We call it retargeting data. It'll give them data saying, hey, these 1,000 people were on your website. Now that I've introduced them to my product, I could remarket to them. iOS 14 kind of killed that because it removed the ability of Facebook to have that information for a very long period of time. So now you can send somebody to your website, but that retargeting is missing because the data isn't there. The tracking isn't there. So it used to be that everybody taught, hey, if you want to start a business, create a Shopify store, right? So Shopify made it really easy to do this. And now you could arbitrage products from China. You buy this little funny thing from China and you have it shipped over to where you are, or you can have them ship it.
And that was like the whole AliExpress
drop shipping. That was arbitrage. And people made a lot of money doing that on like the craziest stuff too. Like on some little tool where you press a button and it like cores an apple.
Which is weird because when I was in college, we used to buy jerseys from AliExpress. We didn't have much money, but you could get a cool jersey of like, your favorite player for $20.
But so let me ask you. So you did that because you didn't have the money, right?
Yeah.
Alternative to that would have been you buying from, Nike or some
the legit
retailer,
ones.
Dick's Sporting Goods, right? So they're selling the jersey for $80.
Yeah.
All they're doing is arbitrage. right? They're likely buying it from a place that sells them for $20 or $18, and then they have them at a retail store. So what advantage do they have over you? They have eyeballs, right? Like, why couldn't you make a bunch of money doing that, right? So you had access to the $20 jerseys. Why not just buy 100 of them and sell them to your buddies for 40?
True.
Right. So it's like that. The only thing that the big brands have the advantage of that the small people, us, that we don't have is they have the existing eyeballs. And that's the idea with like the brick and mortar was, well, I have the eyeballs.
They have the reputation in the jersey, scenario. Right. But their jerseys were looked at like this was the legitimate jersey. You get it from Nike. It's the real one.
Yep. But it's like all they're doing is arbitraging just like you could.
Yeah.
And so the funny thing is like, I love this, that in the last, 20 years or so, we've seen this massive, what I call redistribution of wealth in that, look at like another example would be like Rihanna, which again, I'm using like big people examples, not because I think it just highlights exactly what the potential is. But you look at like a Rihanna, Kendall Jenner, or Kylie Jenner. Yeah, Kylie Jenner. All they did is they said, okay, normally this makeup company would pay me to rep them, right? Like, so Rihanna said, well, none of the makeup companies out here are representative of what I want to wear. So I'm not going to let them just pay me and post for them. I'll just create my own billion-dollar business, because she realized what a lot of other people don't is that she has the eyeballs. Mm-hmm. Ryan Reynolds started a $700 million liquor company because he realized he had the eyeballs. The Rock has the fastest growing liquor company in the world in the last 2 years because he has the eyeballs. Hugh Jackman started a great coffee company. Why? Because he has eyeballs. All these people are realizing like, whoa, dude, I can start my own brand. Logan Paul started what's going to be $1 billion drink company called Prime. Why? Because he has the eyeballs. Instead of being a Gatorade sponsored athlete and saying, well, this product sucks, all you got to do is say, I want to create my own thing. And as long as I've got eyeballs. And the crazy part is every single person on the planet can get the eyeballs one of two ways. Organically posting good content, which most of us aren't made for. Like, let's just be honest. You and I, for instance, we're not made to be influencers.
No.
I don't like posting selfies. I'm okay on camera, but like, I don't necessarily seek it, want that, like the Gary V model of like having somebody follow you around with a camera all the time. I'm just not that interesting. Like,
and I respect those that can do it.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And like, look, I would have no problem with letting Cody follow me around with a camera all the time if I was doing something cool. But what is he going to film if I'm just sitting at my desk? Like, there's not a whole lot going on there. Like, hey, you want to film me driving the same route home every day? So it's like, no, nobody's going to want to watch that, right? So it's like literally every day me like just getting in the car and doing exactly the same thing. And it's like, is this the same video?
Could look interesting like over the course of a year if you just splice all the movies.
Hey, I'm sure it would probably do. Some people would be like, wow, this guy's consistent.
Listens to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah. You guys could see my parking tickets at least that's cool. There's like the little, am I going to have a parking ticket today? But yeah, it's like anybody can get it. You can get it organically if you naturally have the ability to like capture people's attention and you like posting and you capture these. Like, if you're really good at Reels right now, you can kill it. You can grow. If you're really good at TikTok, you can kill it. You can grow. I don't have those things naturally. So what I do is I use ads to introduce myself to people. Right? That's the biggest thing. Introduce people to what you do, provide them some value, and then it's easy. And so that allows you to then create a business. And I think that most people just don't realize, damn, I could create a business out of something I like. Like, it doesn't matter what you want to do. And I used an example yesterday, and I think this is really important, that there's a system that has to be put in place to make this work. Most people think, and especially with like e-commerce, this boomed in e-commerce, but digital products are especially such, like coaching offers. And really, when it comes down to it, affiliate marketing, because most people get their start in affiliate marketing, which is the ultimate arbitrage. That is, I'm taking somebody else who already has a product, I'm introducing people who don't know me to it, and I'm hoping to make a commission.
Like the original influencer method of making.
Yeah, it's like it's technically all marketing is influencer marketing.
Yeah.
It's just that, with email, your platform for influence is different. It's more education based than.
Well, it's like back in the day, a celebrity may have been on a commercial for Pepsi.
Yeah, and now it's instead they're on their own, Instagram. But it's like now, if you have control of people's attention, you can make money. So The Rock makes money because he has control of their attention he's on TV shows, and he has massive Instagram and Facebook following, YouTube. So like he has their attention there. We don't have that. We've got to go a different way. So what we do is we strategically, this is where I think it's different. People need to understand, if you want to have a business, you've got to strategically go about keeping people's attention, right? And I had this quote yesterday that I really think this should be what most people define marketing as. And I want to read it because I listed it yesterday, and I thought there's really no better definition that I've ever written out for what marketing really is. And it is, so understanding that you want to create a business online, like if you wanted to create a business online, you've got to think, okay, what am I doing? It doesn't matter what you're selling, doesn't matter any of that stuff. What am I doing as a marketer, right? Because now you've got to put your marketing hat on. I don't have an audience. I need to reach people. I've got to market this thing, right? Just because you build the best e-commerce store or the best digital product, that does not mean you will ever make one sale.
Yeah.
You've got to put a marketing hat on or hire a marketing team that can then do this. So your job as a marketer is to educate your prospect past their natural instinct to say no. That's the kind of core. Because the natural instinct when somebody asks you for money is to be like, no.
Yes.
I'm good. And I equate
yes
it
to your no.
Right. I equate it to like when you're on the street and you see a homeless person asking for money, they fail 99% of the time to get somebody to open their window and give them money for multiple reasons, right? You don't want to can't trust them. What are they going to do with the money? Whatever, right? But the idea is it is a natural instinct when somebody asks you for money to say no. So there's, you're starting a business, you're selling a product. And my example was, and I think this will work out really easy. I've been talking about starting this vitamin D supplement company for a while. So if I walked up to somebody on the street and said, hey, here's my vitamin D, you should buy it.
Yeah, give me
natural instinct is going to be, no, dude.
Why do I need that? Yeah.
Right. So remember when I said is to educate your prospect past their instinct to say no by explaining, showing, defining, highlighting, and reiterating what is in it for them. So this is what marketing is. I think in a nutshell, this is like the summary. This is the reduction of all the fluff out there. You want to start a business, you want to make money, control your own destiny. Your job is to educate prospects past their instinct to say no by explaining, showing, defining, highlighting, reiterating what is in it for them. Now, you can't do that if you don't have anybody listening to you. So that's the first thing that everybody needs to overcome is like, how do I get people to listen to me consistently? Listening to you once means nothing, right? Listening to you once is like, yeah, I saw that vitamin D product once, but like,
I don't know.
Okay,
yeah.
Whatever. So now here's, and I talked about it just like this, right? So I have vitamin D. You should buy it. No, I'm okay. All right. Next time I talk to you, hey, did you know that there's a study just came out that said that 80 to 85% of all adverse events from COVID showed a low vitamin D level. So there's actually a relationship between low vitamin D levels and adverse negative events from COVID. There's a strict relationship. They did this in Taiwan. They did this in the UK. They've proven that if you have low vitamin D levels, you are more likely to have a negative outcome from COVID and other sicknesses. But they just proved it with COVID recently because that was the hot topic. Pretty crazy, right? Do you want to buy my vitamin D? All of a sudden, it's like, well, maybe.
So
now, did I sell you
more enticing?
any differently?
No, you just educated.
Educate. Now, you know what I also, and here's another thing. So next time we talk, I say, something to the effect of, hey, so that vitamin D I've been working on, we had this medical study that showed that most vitamin D doesn't actually, when you digest it, it doesn't break down and get into your immune system. It doesn't get into your blood cells. It actually only gets into your bones. So it helps you with stronger bones. Like the GNC vitamin D can help you with, stronger bones. And then also, kind of depressing, but it would take something like 8 to 10 hours of sun to give you, any kind of substantial growth in vitamin D. So everybody says, oh, vitamin D, I'll just go outside. It takes a lot for your body to transform sunlight into vitamin D. Takes a lot of sunlight, more so than most of us will get, right?
Yeah.
And no, you don't get it from a tanning bed, right? I'm talking like real sunlight, you need a lot of it. It's pretty depressing when you think about it. It's harder to get vitamin D into your immune system than you think. And so the way that you do it is you have to attach it to something that can get in the bloodstream. And Turns out sesame oil can do that. When your body digests it, going through the stomach wall, it can actually get into your immune system, and it gets into your bloodstream pretty much right away if it's in liquid form, emulsified in sesame oil. Did I tell you that my vitamin D is emulsified in sesame oil and all the other ones aren't?
I think you did mention this at one
So
point.
it's like, but now imagine you being somebody, I want to sell my product. I started by saying, hey, buy my vitamin D. No interest whatsoever. It's like, I don't want to give you my money. But now through, and again, the definition that I had here, now through the education process, through explaining, showing, defining, highlighting, and reiterating, right? So I'm explaining why you need vitamin D. I'm not explaining why my product is the best. I'm saying, here's why you need vitamin D. Then I'm showing you, you can show in a bunch of different ways. Here's me taking my vitamin D. Here's me showing you the benefit of my blood work. Like here's my blood work before taking it. Here's my blood work after. I'm showing you I'm increasing my vitamin D levels.
And then what makes a good vitamin D versus
and again, defining that, highlighting mine, right?
Yeah.
So I'm highlighting my product and reiterating all of these details because the first time you hear it, it might not click. But if I tell you over a 3-month period of time, like, hey, are you still seriously not taking vitamin D? You do realize your health is at risk by not taking it, right? Reiterating things that I've already told you because we're human beings. We need to hear things multiple times. Now, you can't do that as a layman person on the street trying to start a business. You can't do that because there's no way to reach people. Celebrities have ways of reaching people because they can post online and they can reach you over and over and over again, right? So we have to strategically do this. We do this by building a list of people. And it sounds complicated to most people, but it's literally just asking them to opt in to get more information about our products in the future. Most people who listen to this probably are on a few email lists. All you have to do is strategically build a list. Here's the crazy part. I don't care what you sell. I don't care how you sell it. I don't care what the product is, how much it costs. You can sell more of it, and you'll sell some of it at least if you have an email list of people that you can do this process with, strategically helping them overcome their natural instinct to say no by educating them, right? Hey, do you want to buy Chatmatic Pro Academy? No, not really. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
What is it?
I have to educate you on, hey, did you know Pro Academy comes with this, has this, guarantees that, does this thing, it's going to help you build this. Well, now maybe, yeah. And that comes through education, not through, and most people make this mistake, a better sales process.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest misconceptions ever is all these people that we teach, they're starting from scratch right now, and they think this is going to be too complicated. I'm not a salesperson. I don't know how to, ask people for money, whatever. All you got to do is educate people. The problem is they're not educated enough on the benefits of the product to know how to sell it. So with affiliate marketing, for instance, the reason that most people fail with affiliate marketing is because they go from product to product to product to product, introducing people to different products, trying to see which one sticks. But you've done no cultivation. Now we work on in our training programs these 3 C's: collect, cultivate, conversion. And the first step is to collect data. Next is to cultivate the relationship, and the next is to ask for a sale. You do that through education. And I think it's so unbelievable to me, the world that we're in, the amazing world that we're in, where you could decide today, I'm going to start a business. Most people don't take the route of, I'm going to get some level of influence first. I need to build a list of some kind so that I could introduce people to that product in the future.
Yeah, and I think so many people think, I just got to make a product. Like vitamin D is great, obviously a great product. That's one that everyone can benefit from.
Sure.
And I think that's most people's mindset when they go to create a business is like, what can I sell to everyone? What would everyone want? Versus like, especially when you're building your list, is like if you niche yourself, if you're like very good at, what are your hobbies? Okay, I work out. So there's one thing like I like
look,
golf.
Taking that example of growing a business that way, I like working out. What kind of working out? Well, are you like good at something in particular?
Because what like a CrossFitter would like versus what a yogi would like
versus a bodybuilder.
A bodybuilder, they wear different things.
Yep. And so you can sell apparel to one little group.
Take different supplements
to one different group, training to one different group, coaching to one different group. if you niche, it actually allows you to charge more, right? So like that idea with the vitamin D, going back to that even, you can sell vitamin D for everybody for like, let's say $60. But if I said, I've got a vitamin D, just giving a random example, especially for athletes, now I could charge 80.
Yeah.
Because it's probably got something in it that's geared more towards athletes. Vitamin D for immunosuppressed individuals. Maybe it's got a higher level of vitamin D in it, right? I can charge more for that. The more specific you get with any product, the more you can sell. But the general concept is this. And I saw it this morning, and I couldn't help but think about it and want to discuss it. For the first time in a long time, I stopped and went into a gas station. I normally just pay at the pump.
Yeah.
I never really go in. I went in this morning, and there was a long line of people. And most of them had like movers shirts on, so I know they were movers. And then there's some people like, you could tell they didn't have a lot of money. That like might have been one homeless guy in there buying something. And I'm looking at what they all have. And every single one of the people in front of me, there were 6 people in front of me, bought either cigarettes, some sort of something that they could smoke, like a vape or something else of that line, lottery tickets, and like food from there, which I guess
is this not a Wawa?
This was like a normal gas station.
No Wawa.
Like little food from one of those little rolling hot dog things.
Oh God.
So I thought, these are the same people that are going to make excuses for the way their life is in the future. Oh, I don't have the time. I don't have the money. You just spent 15 minutes buying a lottery ticket, a $20 lottery ticket, in hopes that you're going to hit it. How many times do you do that? Maybe 5 times a month. So you spend $100 a month hoping to get rich, but you don't take the time to say, what value could I give to the world? Can I strategically implement something? Like literally every single person, and this is what I think is crazy, has the ability to create a business on the internet. All stop. Every single person. All you have to do is educate yourself on how the internet works, and you can either arbitrage stuff, and Gary Vee's famous for like the whole, he helped some people and they actually got results with this. He just said, look, go on Facebook Marketplace, go to the free section, and see what people are, just want you to pick up. Like people have couches that they can't throw away that you can pick up, fix, and sell for $400 on Marketplace, on Facebook Marketplace. And it's working for people. They're taking like this person's leather couch that they don't want anymore because they bought a new one and it's, not that bad. They take it home, leather cleaner on it, sell it for $150. And all you had to do is pick it up and arbitrage, you sell it. Because the other person was too lazy to clean it up, didn't care about it that much. They're not as worried about the money. And that same idea works at scale with anything. Mm-hmm. So like, I'm not even talking about physical products. With affiliate marketing, you can sell digital products. You can sell products that don't physically exist. We obviously have an affiliate program at Chatmatic. You can find people on the internet, business owners, who want more business, who want more leads. You introduce them to Chatmatic. If they buy, you get a commission.
And you introduce it by wrapping it in your own...
your own unique way, ads formula, right? But the process is still
lead
the same.
Magnets.
Collect data first, show some examples of how Chatmatic works. You run ads, you introduce yourself and this product to that audience. Then you cultivate the relationship. You've gotten an email them about stuff that is related to Chatmatic. Message them about stuff that's related to Chatmatic. Use SMS. Identify different ways that you can communicate with them. And then eventually some of them will buy and you can make money. And now you've got an email list that you can introduce to other things. That's the easiest way to start an online business is, where can I find products? Where is there a niche that I can identify multiple items that I can promote? And what are those products? I'll identify those products and I'll figure out cool ways to introduce people to it. Just show them the benefits of the product. That's all. That's exactly what I did with the vitamin D example. And every time I do that, people are always like, do you actually have a vitamin D? Because that sounds, I legit want that. That sounds good. And all I'm doing is educating you on, hey, you've got a problem. This is like the age-old way of selling anything. You've got a problem. You don't know you do right now, but you're low on vitamin D. 80% of America is low on, 90% of America is low on vitamin D because we don't spend enough time outside to get any. and we don't take vitamin D supplements, and our food doesn't have the same nutritional value that it used to. So you've got a problem, you don't know it. I'm going to identify it about you, and I'm going to give you a better solution to fix it. That's all sales and marketing really is.
Yeah, you can even go to like door-to-door sales, which seems like a little weird, but it's a great example in that of like somebody coming to your house and selling knives. It's like they need to demonstrate to you why your current knives
100%.
suck.
And that's what they do.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Absolutely
like, we used to go to like, I forget where it was, but it was like it was almost like Sam's Club or one of those type of places. And there'd be those on the weekends, they had the little things where they give you the samples. That's the best. All those things sell. And they almost sell it when they give a sample of something. It's like, oh, that was great. I want that. But then also they had this guy who had these 3 little like peeler things, and he would just sit there and peel stuff all day. And it's like he was just easily peeling stuff. And then he would like take one and like julienne to something. So he could take like a pumpkin and julienne it, and it's in little strips, and you could make like pumpkin noodles out of it. And it was like made into that, right? So that's all he's doing is he's just like, slicing stuff up, and it's all using these little tools, and it's like really sharp and stuff. Sells out every time because he's just showing people, here's what this does.
Yep.
How cool is this? Here's a new toy you can add, and it's $20, whatever. But it shocks me because, again, that moment in the gas station this morning, I realized there are way too many people willing to make a billion excuses for why they're never going to get anywhere. It's too hard. It's too complicated. I don't understand it. No, that's the excuse you want to give yourself. And I always tell my wife the same thing. Like, all the time this happens. She'll do something. Like, Travis, I can't figure out the TV. You absolutely can. What's happening is you've got the remote. You tried one thing. That didn't work. You got frustrated and said, I can't figure it out. Because you don't want to figure it out.
Yeah.
Not that you can't. Not that I'm somehow super genius. Like, I love this. You're good with tech. I love that whole thing, right? Like, your family gets in this thing because we work on computers. Oh, you're good with tech.
Mm-hmm.
Am I? Why is that? Because I know how to troubleshoot.
Took the time to try to figure it out.
Yeah. And I'm actually not good with random tech. You want to hand me an iPhone and like this, again, it happens all the time. Hand me an iPhone. Why can't I do this? Where do I find it? I don't know.
So much of the stuff that I like figure out with my family too, because I have the same thing, is like I'll just Google how to do it.
Yeah, or just like
try to figure it out.
Sense.
It's like the internet's not working.
Yep.
Let's try unplugging it, leaving it for like 15 to 20 seconds, and plug it back in.
Is even somebody who's good with tech, the first time they try it to try to figure out something, they're going to get it wrong. And the next time, and the next time. And it's like, you have these like, I'm just willing to spend, because now you've put it on me, I'm just willing to spend 20 minutes going through and failing a few times to then figure it out. Like, I forget what it was exactly, but there was some issue that was happening. Like photos were uploading on my wife's phone automatically and they weren't supposed to or something. She's like, how do I get this to stop? And I was like, I'm not Apple tech. I have no idea. Like, I don't have this problem, so I've never had to solve it before. So both you and I are at the same position right now.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of us have ever figured this out. I am no more intelligent than you are. It's not like IQ plays a role in figuring that out. And my wife's smart. So it's not like I'm like somehow miles beyond her IQ. It's she is not willing to get into that and figure that out because she's more creative minded. And I was. But the hilarious thing is when I'm not around, she figures it all out somehow. Oh yeah, you weren't here. So I did this. And it's like, that's where everybody is when it comes to online businesses, is they allow themselves ahead of time to say, I'm not good at tech. I'm not good at online business. I can't sell. And instantly, you know what they did? They created an excuse for themselves to not do something because it's easier to not do something. And I heard that quote the other day that like the first time you do something, you're going to suck, which is the reason that most people don't do stuff because they're afraid of sucking publicly.
Yeah.
They're afraid of the recourse of, I'm not good at this. How does that make me look to other people? And it's like, dude, you're never going to get anywhere and do anything fun if you're not afraid to suck in front of other people. Same thing with like cooking. I'm not a good cook. No, you're afraid to screw things up.
Yeah, you just haven't cooked.
And you have done no research, right?
Yeah.
You've done no research. You've done no practice. So of course you're going to suck. That's like me saying I suck at driving a Formula One car.
You've never done it.
I'm pretty sure I would suck. I didn't even realize they have these like, I just heard this story about this button that's called a magic button. And they can set it to be whatever they want in each car. So like if you Like, I didn't even know the cars could do this, but on the fly, they can change where the braking happens in their car. So as they're driving, they can have the braking happen farther back or farther forward, depending on how they want to take a certain turn. So while they're driving, going 190 miles an hour, they're also shifting things in their car to be like, I want to rev my car higher, or I want the brakes to happen faster. Well, the magic button does one thing the whole race. So certain tracks you might want braking.
Like pre-programmed.
Yeah. So imagine how, like, you're driving an F1 car for the first time and you see the steering wheel of an F1 car has a ton of information on it. It's telling you your lap times, your delta lap time, which is like the lap time you're supposed to get, and all these buttons and knobs and things. Imagine not knowing how to drive one of those and pressing the magic button. And all of a sudden it's like, well, I don't know what just happened. You're going to suck.
Yeah.
Because you've never done it. And you didn't even know the magic button existed until right now. It's like, of course, it's going to be harder for you the first time, but if you give it a little bit of time, you can be good at it. And business is scary because there's usually financial commitments to it. And this is what I was talking about before. This is just a concept that I really, really need people to understand. Like, it bothers me to have money in savings, sitting in a savings account. And like, bothers me because the thing that everybody needs to understand about money is, when you're young or at the beginning of a journey, that you can be older doing this, you spend your time making money. That's the goal. I want to spend my time to make money. Then eventually you use that money to get your time, right? So imagine you start a small company and in the beginning you're grinding away all the time. Then you get it profitable. Now you hire somebody, got a little bit of your time back. Okay, now I can hire somebody else and still make as much money. And that's the idea, is to keep filling these holes. Okay, that guy's going to be full-time here. That guy's going to be full-time here. That girl's going to do this full-time. I've got a bunch of my time back. Now, I don't even have to be involved. I used my money to get my time back. The ultimate goal of money is to give you your time back. That's the hope. People have been, for the last 5 decades, have been ingrained in this idea that you need money in the bank. And you know what? It's funny. It starts as a kid. Elementary schools allow banks to come in and teach financial literacy to a sense to young kids. The entire idea is trust the bank.
Yeah.
You need to have money in a, remember, like, they used to do the whole thing, like, you could start a savings account or you could start a checking account as a kid. And it's like, oh, get these fake checks and learn how to use money and banking and all this stuff. It's like, dude, that's only to make the bank more money. Because guess what the bank does? The bank says, we understand money. I'm going to take your money and I'm going to make money off it. I'm going to leverage it twice, 3 times. I'm going to spend it in this stock. So you put $100,000 in the bank. They take that 100, they put it in the stock. So it's gaining every day. Then they go out and they say, hey, so-and-so, I'm going to wager that my portfolio goes up, right? So now I can borrow against this because there's 100,000 sitting here. They can borrow against that, and somebody else will give them 70,000, and they'll go, hey, yeah, I'll loan you that money, and then you just pay me back. So it's like this, building tower of, now they just turned your 100,000 into 170, and all 170 is invested, so it's going to grow. Why do you think you can't go to a bank and withdraw all 100,000 at one time? You can get a cashier's check, but that's not a bag of cash. Right?
Yeah.
You can't get your actual money immediately from any bank. Try it if you have more than like $10,000. I've been to a bank before, and they've told me specifically, if you want more than $5,000, you have to call us at least 72 hours ahead of time. Why? It's my money. I want it now.
But it's not like your money is just sitting in a vault,
And it can't be sitting at every Bank of America, right?
Yeah.
All of everybody's money. But on top of that, try sending a wire. Why doesn't the wire go immediately? Why do you have to pay $45 for a cashier's check? Why are you paying $45 for your own money immediately? Because they're saying, well, I'm going to make less money on your money now, so you're going to pay me to get your own money out. Why do you pay $50 for a wire fee? Because they can't make money. But guess what? A same-day wire fee is $50. A 3-day wire fee is $5. Why? Because they can make money off of your money for the 3 days. You're allowing them to continue to make money for your money from 3 days. When you understand that about banks and about money, and then you say, yeah, I've got $20,000 sitting in a bank account, it should make you wonder, what should I be doing with that money? The easiest thing to do is invest in yourself. Educate yourself. Buy a course. I know it's the hardest thing to do because it's not a tangible purchase. You're actually betting on yourself. You're investing in your education to give you a skill set that you could then translate. And so it's funny because like you have money sitting in a savings account and that all you're doing is saying, oh, I feel safe. Safety is the number one deterrent to progress ever. Like you cannot be 100% safe and do something that is outside of your comfort zone and do something that's outside of your realm of grasp right now. It's impossible. And most people have not accepted that. Oh, Travis, I want to make $10,000 a month. What are you willing to put up? Like, what are you willing to risk? A little bit of your safety? If all you have to do, and I think this is amazing, if the only thing you have to risk in order to grow is money, you are fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine back in the day, like war times, gladiator times. You had to get out there and literally fight people to the death.
Yeah.
To get somewhere in life. You had to literally like assassinate kings and like fight lions, like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
You ask one of those dudes back in the day, hey, if you want to get out of this situation, just pay me some money. They'd have been like, yeah. You mean I don't have to literally die? That's amazing. And in today's world, people think, well, I don't want to have to part with my money. Parting with your money is how you make more money. If you can take 10,000, invest it in yourself, and that 10,000 and you put in the effort, turns into 20, are you happier about that or are you upset that you spent that 10? You're happy.
Well, now you have all that knowledge too. It's like now you can turn that 20 into,
and
60.
That exponentially increases, right? That 10 doesn't just become 20 once, it could become 40 and then 60. That's why like going to events, buying into masterminds, buying courses, all of those things are like must-haves. They're things
as long as you apply what you learn.
Not just buying. Like, that's the one thing about buying something versus investing in something. Yeah. If you buy something, you're only going to get whatever that thing is. You buy a Gucci shirt for $590.
It's crazy.
Which is outrageous. I cannot believe there's a t-shirt that's $590, but they do it at Gucci. When you buy that, you don't expect it to do anything else. You expect to be able to put it on. It's going to provide you coverage.
I mean, a shirt like that, I would expect it to do a lot.
Should make you some toast or something. Like,
I mean, I would probably.
Actually, I bet you some people do. At that expensive, people do expect it to give them some status. They expect it to come with something.
Status. If a guy was wearing that shirt, I think they would expect, an audience of females around them.
Some females. You know what they get? They get other guys like me going, that guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
He just wasted $590 on a Gucci t-shirt to make other people think he's rich when he probably doesn't have that much money, and that was likely a stretch. Those are the people who buy Gucci, like overly Gucci Balenciaga stuff most of the time.
I don't even like how the way they look.
Want to look the rich versus actually being the rich. I prefer my shirts to have no label on them.
Yeah.
I very much prefer that. And if they do, it's got to be on like the bottom area because I don't care. That's so weird to me. But that's such a framework of like the mentality of money that I just can't get over. People want security over, like I've been an advocate of this for a long time. Fear over faith. Most people right now are listening to news. They're being, and listening to family, and they're being led by fear. Fear leads you to do what? Like, I always equate it to like your body. When your body goes into starvation mode, what does it do? It packs on fat. Mm-hmm. It stores more fat. It doesn't even give you energy to survive because it's in fear mode. It's going, whoa, hold on, we got to protect ourselves. So what do? You store things, right? You like hold on to as much as you possibly can because you're afraid, your body's afraid. What if I stop getting food, right? Human beings, and the news definitely dictates this, human beings do the same thing, especially right now, and definitely with money. I'm going to hoard as much of it as I can. I'm going to hold on to it because what if? I'm afraid. What if you used a different mindset? What if you were hopeful? What if you had hope that this is going to turn into something? Now you spend that money with the hope mindset of, I'm going to turn this into something. right? You can't be fearful and hopeful at the same time, essentially. If you want to make progress, you've got to have some hope. You got to let go of something with the hope that it's going to turn into something. And you don't do that when you're afraid. And I think way too many people live in this fear-based mindset. And one thing that I want to get across, especially anytime that I talk now moving forward, is like, fear is going to stop you from everything. You can't make progress if you're afraid of losing money. You can't make progress if you're afraid of taking a risk. I'm afraid of what my aunt is going to think of me if I start my own business. I'm afraid of what my mom is going to say if I try to start my own business because I'm not a business person. Fear sucks. And fear is the number one thing that I think. Fear and comfort are the two things. But comfort, I think, makes people afraid. When you've been somewhat comfortable for a while, you're afraid of feeling uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, I don't want to lose what I've got here. So I collect, I store, I don't allow myself that progress feeling. And to me, it's one of the craziest things in the world when you've been through it and you see, like, you went skydiving, right?
Yeah.
I will never go skydiving. I'm petrified.
It's a great experience,
it's fear, right? It's fear. The only reason I won't go skydiving is because of my fear of the unknown. You can't be fearful and have knowledge of a situation.
Well, you got a wife and kids. You got to look.
Sure, I have more to lose, right, if I lost something. But at the end of the day, I don't. The worst possible outcome, we both lose our life.
Yeah.
My life isn't somehow worth more because I have kids and a wife, right? It's still my life.
But you got more people dependent.
Collateral damage, right? Yeah. So 100%. But think about this. If you had knowledge that you could skydive and it would be 100, and you knew 100% certainty that everything would be 100% fine, everybody would do it. I wouldn't be afraid of it.
Yeah.
Fear comes from a lack of knowledge.
It would take that element out of it.
Right.
That's part
100%.
of it. As cool as it is to be up there and look around and, be soaring through the sky.
Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But there's also that
edge.
Oh, I may die.
Yeah.
This is real.
Well, and I think some people like that, right? That's an adrenaline seeker. And so the downside is people think, oh, I don't want to start a business for that same reason. I'm not an adrenaline junkie. I don't want that. I don't like that feeling of like I could die, right? With business, there is that feeling. Like, what if I fail? What if I invest in this and it doesn't work out? Well, if you had knowledge that it would, you wouldn't care. So it's fear that's holding you back. That's the thing that I think is always funny. People are like, I'm not afraid to invest. I just don't want to. Okay, but you see the outcome that's coming from this. You want to do it. You want the business. You want to be able to generate revenue. You want to be able to send emails and make money. Everybody wants that life.
Then what
is holding you back?
Yeah.
Oh no, I just I don't know. I just don't think. So you're afraid. You're afraid, or you're willing to admit you're lazy. I'm not going to put in the work. It's on me that I don't think this is going to work.
And I think there's definitely people out there, and I've talked to them in the past that have
admitted that.
Like, hey, I just know myself, and I'm not. I'm probably not going to do it.
At least you're aware.
Yeah.
But like, what I don't like is the people who, I have no problem if you are aware of your situation and like, hey, you want to make 30,000, 60,000, 100,000 a year, and that's your cap for the rest of your life, and you're happy. Good on you. No problem. But the people who are listening that want to make something of their life and like especially the ones that want to have control. Because right now you might make $100,000 a year, but if somebody else is telling you have to be here at this time and you can't go do that, you can't leave, you can't be here, you don't get to take that vacation. You got to be in this spot on this day. You do what I tell you. You don't have control over your life.
Yeah.
So if you want control over your life, which again, I go back to the idea that your time should make you money, and then your money should get your time, should be able to buy you some time. If you spend all of your time making money, when do you enjoy your time? Like, yeah, you might enjoy the process. You might like your job, but you don't have control. We don't all want to be sitting in an office every day. Half the time, I'd like to be out golfing sometimes. I want to be taking a trip.
Yeah.
I want to live my life and experience things. I can't do that if somebody else is telling me I've got to be here Tuesday at 9:00. And sure, I mean, obviously you work with me. If you said, hey, I'm I'm not coming in tomorrow. I'd be like, okay, that's not cool. But on days that you need to leave early, you can leave early. Like there's a freedom to it in the way that we do it, but not everybody has that with their job. There's a lot of people who are like, yeah, damn, dude, if I'm not at my office every single day, all day, driving a truck at a warehouse, whatever, then, my security is gone.
Or there's a lot of the people that work from home. My brother's one of them where you have to be moving your mouse.
Yep.
At least. So
even
if
I've been seeing memes about that.
If he's not doing anything,
a mouse to his cat.
Yeah.
So as his cat ran around, the mouse moved.
So it's just moving your mouse. He's not doing anything. He's just moving his mouse.
I just find it's crazy because if you're willing to say I'm good with that life because I want nothing but safety. Safety is my only concern. I don't care about enjoyment. I care about safety. I don't care about progress. I care about safety. And I talk about it at the gym. When I used to own a gym, I would tell people CrossFit is not the safest sport, right? But that is why you will get progress. Because if you only did movements that were 100% safe and pain-free, there is no progress. Like, yes, we have box jumps. Are those 100% safe? No.
Absolutely not.
Definitely not. I have scars on my shins to prove it. But is there a benefit to doing them? Yes. Yes, we have back squats. Are those 100% safe? No. Is there a benefit to doing them? Yes. You have to be willing to say, I'm going to step out of that safety zone and do something that I've not done before. And until you're willing to do that, you can't grow. You can't progress. So stop listening to this podcast. Stop listening to other podcasts about business. Stop, the worst thing in my opinion is that feeling of like, oh, I'm motivated. Like I want to do something. I want to live a life and then never doing it.
Yeah.
Like it's
because if it was easy, everyone would do it, right?
But and it's so upsetting to me to think like you have a desire to do something. You want to take that trip. You want to go to that place. You want to de-stress a little bit by paying this bill. You want to do these things, but you're not willing to work for them. And you're not willing to let go of a little bit of safety to do that. Even in and a lot of it comes down to a thought I had about, our programs, right? Chatmatic's $149 a month for an unlimited account. Any business could make more money using Chatmatic. Oh, I don't know. $149 is a lot. You mean you're not willing to invest $149 a month into your business to generate more leads, which could then turn into $10,000, $20,000, $100,000 a month. You're not willing to risk the safety of that $149. $149, but guess what? You're the same person who's in the gas station spending $100 a month on scratch-off tickets, hoping to get lucky with the Mega Million, which you'll never win.
Yeah.
You will spend thousands on that.
Is there like a big lottery thing going on right now?
Ticket.
Oh, just a scratch.
Literally a scratch-off ticket. He's hoping to win like a $500,000 mega prize, which nobody ever wins.
No one ever.
Insane. And it's because scratch-offs are safe. $20, pretty safe. That's crazy to me. You're gambling versus investing.
Scratch-offs and gambling in general is designed for you to lose money.
Yeah.
Vegas isn't Vegas because everyone who goes there walks away,
totally
with more money than they came with.
Lottery tickets are the easiest thing to break. They go, hey, in this roll, we're going to guarantee one winner wins $200,000, but each one of these is $20. There's 1,000 of them. So we're going to make $2 million, giving out a guaranteed. How much do we want in the prize pool? 500,000? Okay, cool. So we make 1.5 million. We'll give back 500,000. So we make 2 million total in selling the tickets. We'll give back 500,000.
And most of those are just your money back, so you buy another one and lose.
100%. Or free ticket, right? And it literally is gamed. Do you think there's some stupid lottery ticket person out there going, hey, let's make these scratch-offs. Let's give away 10 million here. Well, we're not going to make 10 million. It's all right.
They're not doing it.
No.
They couldn't.
A business for profit.
Yeah.
You're hoping the one ticket that you buy is the $200,000 ticket?
Yeah.
You're still making them money.
The state runs it so they can make money.
But what blows me away is that mindset of, I'm so into my safety. I'm so into my bubble. But this is where I get bothered. But I'm going to attend Travis's webinars. I'm going to listen to his podcast. I'm going to follow this celebrity business person. I'm going to talk the talk, but I'm going to do nothing. That's why there's so many people who talk about like execution over information and all this, like all these execution, hustle guys. It's because there's a huge market for it, because there's a lot of people who listen and never do a thing. And it's like, that to me is one of the biggest travesties of life. You're going to end up at some point on a deathbed somewhere. We all are. Time gets everybody. And you're going to look back and go, what did I do? I was safe. I was safe. The whole time. I took one vacation a year. I was safe, man. Like, cool. What about the people who weren't safe? Yes, you're going to add some stress to your life potentially. But what happens when you do something with that? What happens when you invest in yourself and it becomes something? You learn a skill like affiliate marketing, like starting an e-commerce store. I don't care what it is. You start some skill that then ends up turning into money. And that's what I love about the people who actually enroll in Pro Academy. The mindset for those people who've enrolled, totally different than the ones who aren't willing to invest but have the money, right? It's like you could give away Pro Academy completely for free, or you could charge, let's say, $20,000 for it. The person who wants to pay $20,000 to get in is on a totally different motivation level and will actually do something because he has skin in the game versus the free. The free people will be unhappy with the program. They won't use it and they won't care about it, and they will get zero out of it because they've invested nothing because it's too safe.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to step out of their safety zone for a free program, which is why I will never sell information for free. I'll give it to people who invest in our software and whatever, but it's because of the end person. I don't want those people. I don't want the people who only want free and safe. You're going to have to want to step out of a comfort zone to be able to make progress, which is why it's like almost frustrating when I show something that I know works and has power. And lately I've been thinking this way too, is like, I hate that I'm showing this to people who I know aren't going to use it. Some people here aren't going to do anything. And the reason isn't because the information isn't good. It's because they're afraid. They're afraid to not be safe.
But I feel like how it works is like there are definitely people who are listening to what you're saying
100%.
and doing it.
Yeah.
But they're just not saying anything about it. They're just like quietly
Well,
getting
and then there's
great
people
results.
who will do something and say something about
Yeah,
it. But,
yeah.
And so I have to think of it that way. I have to think there might be one person out of 500. There might be one that does something with this, in which case it's been an accomplishment. But I wanted to make today's conversation about that, about have the internal conversation with yourself. What am I doing with every element of your life? Am I being safe? Am I only doing this because safety is driven by fear? Am I afraid? Is the question that I want everybody to ask. Am I doing this because I'm afraid? Am I living this way out of fear? Because is that how I want to define my life? Ask your significant other. Ask your parents. Is this being driven out of fear because safety is nice and comfortable? Am I afraid of the uncomfortable stuff? I do it sometimes. I'm not saying I'm above it, but like you let a little bit of money get into your savings account and you're not moving it because you're afraid. I've caught myself doing it lately. Instead of, I need to be aggressive in figuring out what I can do to make more money. You need to figure out that nice fine line. Where is my safety not going to be so, like, I'm not saying empty your savings account, right? You still want a backdrop, 3-4 months of being able to, pay bills if something else crazy happened. But especially in today's world, gas prices going up, consumer products going up, plane tickets going up, cost of living going up. You think you're going to survive making what you made before, staying safe, while there are people out there taking risks, making more money? Look, I missed out on the entire NFT thing because I wasn't willing to take a risk. I missed out on most of it. When I did take a risk, I made a little bit of money on both the NFTs that I bought. Very little. Had I been willing to risk more, I was in on Bored Apes. I knew about them before they were $100,000. I knew about CryptoPunks before they were $100,000. Both of them now sell regularly for $400,000 to $1 million. Had I been willing to risk 80 grand, I could now be sitting on potentially $1 million. But I wasn't willing to risk it. It was safe to hold on to that money. Now that money is worth less than it was worth at that time. And it's because, again, as long as you can have the open conversation with yourself, like I'm doing this, I made that mistake, I don't want to do it again. Learn from the mistake.
The thing with NFTs though, and
they're risky. That's
They
a
could,
risk.
you could absolutely lose all 80,000.
100%.
Where most things, it's like out of that 80 grand, you may, if you invested in ads, maybe you're only getting 40,000 back
Sure.
originally, but now you have
Over
a
time,
list.
$10,000 a
Now,
month, and
yeah,
in 12 months you made 120 grand.
exactly.
Right. And again, I think that like the Bored Apes is an interesting example because that gets you access to a club that is worth that kind of money. So if you're at that level financially, the access to the club is worth it. But
It's huge.
in general, the idea that people are sitting and not moving and staying stagnant in their life when they want progress, when they listen to all the rah-rah, when they follow Gary Vee, when they listen to this podcast, and they're stagnant and they've never asked themselves, am I stagnant because of fear? Am I afraid of the risk? Because if you are, you need to have that conversation, at least call it out about yourself and see what risks can I take? Because everything I'm doing is based on fear. And this is what I think is funny. COVID brought that out of a lot of people. I'm going to stay inside. I'm afraid. I'm going to stay inside. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm triple masked up. I'm going to do all this stuff. I'm not going anywhere. And it was because they were afraid. If you had knowledge that you wouldn't die from COVID, you'd go out and do things. People were afraid. And that happens in every aspect of life. That same fear drives people in one way or another. And almost everybody's guilty of some level of that fear dictating their lack of progress in their life. And I think that, to me, is one of the most upsetting things. I see people coming to my webinars all the time. Travis, no, it's a lot of money. Not that I can't afford it. Not that I don't have it. It's just a lot of money and I like feeling secure. Okay, great. Stop coming to my stuff because I can't help you out of that zone. Aside from doing this podcast, which is why I wanted to do it, this conversation. I wanted to have the conversation about the fact that there's so much more internal conversation that has to happen. You have the entire world at your fingertips. Everybody has a phone. You can absolutely start a business out of your phone. Everybody has the capability to do it, but it's the lack of comfort. It's the lack of information. It's the safety. It's the fear that somebody might be, think this of me, or fear of, failure and all this. And that's what makes an entrepreneur, the ability to go from failure to failure without lack of enthusiasm. Winston Churchill said that, I believe, or Teddy Roosevelt, one of those two.
I think
during
it's
World
Churchill.
War II. But that ability to do that, like a real entrepreneur, business person, somebody worth the growth, worth getting the growth, is going to allow themselves to fail. But you're not failing at skydiving, right? Like, it's not like that's a failure where you don't come back from it very often. You're failing at something that has no physical harm on you, right? Investing in yourself, growing. And yeah, you might invest $20,000 right now in a mastermind and not get anything for 3 years, but then have $1 million business. Was it worth it?
Probably wasn't at the time.
I mean,
You probably didn't.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to learn from it.
But then it was definitely worth it.
Do and make mistakes. But I just think it's interesting because there's so much potential in starting a business, running Facebook ads, cultivating relationships with people, getting a voice, promoting products, and anybody can do it. And on top of that, the reason that most people stop or don't do it is because they're afraid to get out of that comfort zone, which is so nice and cozy. And it's easy to stay in this little zone of, I'll just work my 9 to 5 and it's safe. But guess what? I have a bunch of friends who do the 9 to 5 thing, and I get my feeling when I'm like, oh, I left on Wednesday to go to this event. You guys can't leave till Friday. And it's like, I got a little extra time. I was able to do something.
Well, and I also think somebody may hear this and be like, okay, well, I've tried Facebook ads before. I tried promoting products. I did, I was doing $5 a day for, 2 weeks and I never made a sale.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, did you kind of evaluate what you were doing?
Right.
And try
you
to
have
change
to learn
it?
and look at the strategy.
Did you collect anything in there?
And that's the problem is everybody's being taught the old way of Facebook ads was drive people to your website. You're getting data because of the pixel, but now you're not. So that's why one of the things that I preach is drive people into Messenger. You get data from everybody. You at least get a connection with everybody that goes into a Messenger sequence. You can reach back out to them. And that gives you something. And then you can evaluate all of the, okay, was it my ad? Was it my sequence? Was it the offer? And you can build off of it. Look, nobody's Facebook ads are perfect the first time. You get a good ad, you evaluate, was it getting good clicks? Was it getting good conversions? Was I getting good opt-ins? Was my targeting right? You got to learn how to do that stuff. But after a while, when you understand Facebook ads, and if you spend a little bit of money on Facebook ads, maybe you even know this, is you start to see that stuff comes naturally. The assessment of your results starts to happen very fast. It's not like homework where you're like, oh crap, I got to do this for, I got to analyze the results from this for 2 weeks. You kind of look at it and you're like, okay, that's what happened.
Yeah.
And you make an adjustment and you move on. That's another big trait of most entrepreneurs is failure happens, make the adjustment, move on. Don't, failure happens. Oh, man.
See, this doesn't work.
Yeah, this sucks, dude.
Yeah.
This is crap. And then you wait 6 months, you get over that, and you try it again. Well, now you've lost all that time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, instead just go, okay, that particular thing didn't work, but what did work in there? Take every negative and turn it into the positive. Like, okay, these ads were definitely not profitable, but did I learn something from making Facebook ads? Now I'm a little bit more comfortable. I understand Facebook audiences better. Okay, I get this. I just need to, now I'm going to go to this event that talks about Facebook ads and see what they're doing. So you invest in yourself and you go and you're like, oh, maybe that was my mistake. You try it again, you fail again. Okay, let's go to another event. Got it. Okay, now I'm starting to come together. I'm $4,000 or $5,000 in, granted, but I've learned. And I know kind of what to do. But I just feel like in the scheme of things, 4, 5, 10, 20,000 bucks. I paid $120,000 for my degree. They didn't help me get a job. They didn't teach me any practical skills. They didn't do crap. They took $120,000 of my money and 4 years of my life. And that's all that happened. That's it. And I mean, I don't regret it in any sense. Like, it got me my job. I wouldn't be here without it, obviously, whatever it was. But it wasn't necessary. I could have absolutely ended up here without that. And I'd had a 4-year head start and $120,000 more in my pocket. And that was before compounded interest, which probably brought it to about $160,000 in total that you had to pay. And people want to talk about $10,000 is way too much to learn a direct business where the end game is that I get something out of this. You're absolutely crazy.
I mean, I have a degree in kinesiology. I don't think
you're using that right
much for me.
Using that right now on podcasts. Is that what they taught you in kinesiology? They were like, here's how to host a podcast.
Yeah, that's exactly what
it was. Yeah, we could probably talk about some joints and things like that.
While we're doing VO2 max tests.
Yeah, utilize your RMR knowledge.
Yeah.
But no, it's like I have a business management degree. And yes, I run a business. Everybody's like, oh yeah, you run a business. Dude, business management degrees in college are like, here's how to run an Applebee's or like an Arby's. Here's how to be a manager at an Arby's. You're going to be dealing with people who have stress, how to handle stress, stressful relationships, and, positive reinforcement versus negative reinforcement. Our marketing class was a joke. Didn't even teach marketing and had nothing to do with social media. And 1 year in my capstone class, I got a lower grade because I said that this company should go on the internet. I said that Best Buy should focus on the internet back in 2010, I think it was. I said they should focus on internet. And the guy was like, you're crazy. They don't need to expand with the internet. What they need to do is they need to open up more offices in China. That's how you expand. And it's like, well, what? Now Best Buy does probably more of their sales online than in stores. And they're trying to downsize some of their locations so they don't have to, because you don't need 20 aisles for DVDs anymore.
No.
Like, you can downsize a lot of that. But turns out I was right. That teacher was wrong. And it's like the degrees don't matter. But now instead of getting a degree for $150,000, you can take a course. You can go to an event. You can ingrain yourself in YouTube videos for free. Do all this stuff. Give yourself a little bit of time. And in 1 year, 52 weeks, you're a master at something. But you just got to give it the time to be able to make it through it. And it didn't cost you $150,000 most likely. And it didn't cost you 4 years of your life. And then they kick you out the door and go, what? You want something from us?
You expect more from us?
Yeah. Oh, no. You paid us for information. Go use it. How? I don't know. But I'm sure you'll figure it out. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I hope that, through some of this, somebody says, yeah, man, I'm living based on fear and not based on hope. I need to take more chances. I need to do more things that are positively affecting me. I need to put my money to use. I've got $80,000 in an account. I need to do something with it, because sitting there is just pointless. It's actually turning into less money because of inflation. Go invest it in something. Go invest it in yourself, real estate, figure something out that you can actually do. Take progress. And I just think the fact that we can actually run a business from our phone is insane. And we do ours from computer, but a lot of what we do is on Slack and things like that. Like you can run ads for the most part kind of on your phone. You can check in
Yeah,
on
you
them.
could do a lot of things still on there.
It blows me away. There's a lot of opportunity, and I'm hoping that somebody hears this and says, "Man, I need to take mine," because the only reason you're not taking whatever is out there for you is whatever excuse you give yourself. That's literally it. There's so much opportunity. What's your excuse? So I don't have the money. You could find it, I bet, if you really wanted it. You could figure it out. You could get a credit card, put it on the credit card and learn and do all this. But oh, it's risky. I know. Oh, I've got kids. I get it. You're gonna have to take some chances on your total comfort to make some big moves. But yeah, I hope somebody takes this and it helps them out of that element of feeling fear and feeling scared and lack of motivation and just realize, affiliate marketing is even out.
I mean, I think like a conversation like this helps me, like, because I start to analyze kind of how I've been living, and maybe it is slightly fear-based in certain
fear
aspects.
and comfort.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to lose the comfortability, but it's fear that because look, I do it. And it helps when even just saying it, like saying it out loud is always like, yeah, I do it. And it's like, you've got money sitting in a savings account. Why am I not moving that? It's because I'm afraid that and I'm not saying okay, if I live a hope-based mindset, I'm going to go out and get a Ferrari because I hope that I'm going to make enough money to pay for it. That's not the hope I'm talking about. Hope in progress that like I could be doing something with my life. I'm going to put those steps in place. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to hope that when I invest in myself that I'm hopeful I can get something out of it. Not I'm fearful I won't. And that's, just that mindset of like, take the chances. It's going to take some work, but take the chances and it's always worth it at the end of the day. Like you learn something from it, you make some progress. Just find good things that you feel like have the potential for moving you forward. Like good people, good courses. That's why I love surrounding myself with good people. If you can pay to be in the right circles, that's huge. Joining the right masterminds puts you in touch with people that you otherwise couldn't get in touch with. And that levels you up as long as you use it, use the relationships. So yeah, I love the idea. Buy courses, invest in yourself. And hopefully somebody here sees this and I don't even care if it's in my programs, like just take action. Cause it kills me to be on training calls with people when I'm like, I see these people and their lack of motivation and their lack of drive and their fear-based mindsets of like, well, I don't know what happens if. Sure, we could all sit in a room and say, what happens if, and we'd all get nowhere. And, just be a bunch of,
if you're one, I see that a lot. It's like all those questions that like potentially may come up.
Yeah.
And some weird scenario. It's like you don't need to answer that, right? You don't need an answer to that.
Let it happen first.
Yeah, when that comes up, then, then we'll deal with it.
And renew. Yeah, 100%. I think that's a big message, and I'm hoping that, I can do more delivering of messages like that and just have these kind of conversations because I think that that's a big thing that's stopping a lot of people. It's not the knowledge. Like the knowledge of how to start a business is out there and just too many people are afraid or they lack their own self-confidence. Like, I couldn't do that. I don't know how to sell and all this. I didn't know how to sell. I went to college. They don't teach how to sell. I went to college and got out and I had to figure it out. And I had a sales job before I started the internet job and it was in sales and I sold nothing. So for somebody to be like, well, I don't know how to sell online. Dude, I literally had a real sales job and couldn't sell. And I got online and I figured it out.
Yeah.
So it just takes time to do it. And like before you worked with me, you had never sold. And now you've done hundreds of thousands of dollars in direct closing sales for different offers. It just, you got to put it in place. Take the action. But yeah, hopefully this helps somebody and we'll have obviously more conversations along this line, but I'd like to talk more about what people can do, how to make those right decisions, that kind of thought process, but we'll get to that some other time. But yeah, man, that's it.
Good talking.
Yeah. See you guys.
See ya.